Disclosure News and Commentary number 31, 31, 31, 31, 31. Yeah, we're back on Monday, motherfucker. Why? Why, Steve? Why are you actually handing this shit on fucking time? One, I'm inspired by Gunnar Miller. You know that motherfucker's done more than 30 shows. Fucking Thursday at the same time every week. Consistency is greatness. I said it last week in full disclosure number 30, which a lot of people have taken to heart. We're gonna fucking talk about that shit. And I realized I gotta fucking embody my fucking words even more than I already do. Speaking of greatness, what the fuck is this? You saw this picture as part of the thumbnail. What the hell is this? This is my fucking Patreon, motherfucker. This is the numbers going up and up and up and up and up and up and up. And guess what? Not only do I have new sponsors, which I'm going to talk about, since all of them added at least the $5 level, but another one added at $25, and somebody else added at the $100 motherfucking level. What does that mean? Dick licks. That means I hit the $200 mark, which was a goal of mine that I had set in the back of my mind for the end of the year, that I would get at least $200 in patron money every month. And I've already hit it. Now I got to figure out what the fuck I promised when I hit $200. But it's there on the Patreon site. Of course, that's fucking linked below. Join that shit. I'm about to drop. This is one of the rare times where I'm going to drop the full disclosure first, because I'm so fucking inspired. And then I'm dropping that Patreon video. I got crazy shit to talk about. $5 level gets you there. Dollar shows me your support. Even higher, you get even more shit. Who are these fucking patrons? By the way, I have an unboxing today. Look at that fucking... Look, flex it. Pow! It's not even trap day. Look at that shit. It's gorgeous. Gorgeous. Fucking Malone Hart. This motherfucker ponying up. Eric, better known as Dynamite Soul, showing some love. Georgia Indy is new as well. Those are my three new ones, but I love the old ones. Logan bumped his shit up to $5, and I saw he got a fucking report into Georgia wrestling history. Awesome. Josh, Southern Honor. Larry, not that one, another one. Rob Rod, Brian, fucking double dropkick. Myron been there since day motherfucking one. Thanks. I can't, shit, what can I say, man? Shit's going good. I'm feeling it. These videos have been getting longer and longer, but my kid who analyzes, who does the analytics, tells me that people are actually listening longer and longer percentage-wise. So thank you, assholes who are listening. Appreciate you. Fuck. What's the commentary about? Notice I'm hitting all the beats, Elena. What's the commentary about? It's about fucking people needing to tighten up. I spoke last week about magic, and a number of people who I respect and some who I don't, but now maybe I will, have started talking about magic and invoking magic, making magic happen. Well, that's well and good, and I'm a big fan of it, and I think it's awesome that people are doing it, but along with magic, we got to talk about tightening up. This one's going to be a little harder to hear. Magic is inspirational. Tightening up is motherfucking checking people in the boards. It's about tightening up. It's about sacrifice. We're going to talk about what those words mean in professional fucking wrestling. I have a number of rants already planned. I'm sure a bunch are going to happen that I am not planning. Renegade at 33. Now, Renegade is a group that Tyler... Is that the guy who motherfucking gas away? He runs that shit. People have asked me in the past to sort of give them a boost, to fucking promote them, as it were, give them a shout out, give them a rub. I didn't do it. Why? Because the first time I looked, I saw Chris Crunk as their main event. Chris Crunk, maybe he's a really nice guy. Maybe he's a really clever guy. All I know is if Chris Crunk is in your main event, your show sucks and can't be considered top tier. So I read the report. I believe Logan Frazier put it out. And I read it, and the 33 people in the crowd was disappointing. Gary Lamb talked about going to that show, and he said what I didn't need him to say because I looked at that card. Dippity do dog shit. Maybe it's being booked as it's better than it ever has before, in the sense that Tyler, I think, is one of these guys who really takes the Pro Wrestling Handbook videos and such to heart. That's awesome. But you gotta have talent. Wrestling is about fucking stars and people that know what the fuck they're doing. And Renegade Championship Wrestling, you can do all the work you want until the talent gets better. You're fucked. As proof of this, Spinebuster, which is getting big fucking crowds on a Wednesday fucking night in Valdosta fucking Georgia, 212. But notice, as Spinebuster has sought to make their show better and better and more prominent, what have they done? They brought in better and better and better people to work with the homers that they've got already there. That's what it takes. That's the truth. All these South Georgia groups that bitch that they aren't a bigger part of the awards and that's not fair. Am I saying you have to use the best of the guys from the North part of Georgia? Probably. Let's be honest. If you're a bunch of shitbirds and your shitbird friends doing shitbird matches in front of a shitbird crowd, then you know what you get for the awards? Shit. Jack shit. Face to face. Oh, baby. Gonna get to you. 278 for face to face. The fuck? Good for them. Holy fuck. Peach State, just like Anarchy, went from fighting to get 100, and then they'd get 160 at Fright Night, but then they drew 160 at their last regular show. And I said, welcome to B+. Well, if I said that for them, Peach State, 175 paid and 20 comps, that's right under 200. Welcome back, Peach State. Welcome back to the game. Welcome back to the game. Yeah? And Heat Angle. Tommy Too Much going heel. Heat. Good wrestling. New faces that seem like they were integrated well and are getting over with their crowd. Exhale. Exhale. Exhale, Peach State. You deserve it. Now the hard work begins, as the cliche goes, but at least you're back in the game. And it's great to see. You can exhale. Hopefully you'll be the exhaling one and not the one out of the 4 that had to have sex with Gregory Hines. Don't worry about it. Larry put up an old PCW report. Couple of things to note. It was from April 2010. The amount of people that thought Larry made some kind of mistake, maybe because the headline was wrong or something, but Larry intentionally put up an old PCW report that he stumbled upon because he thought it was interesting before he put up the actual PCW report. And that April 2010, I was just talking to somebody, a friend of mine, good friend of mine recently, and I was saying how, though I won the award for Booker of the Year in 2012, I thought my booking was better in 2010 and 2011. Because even though I'd come up with the red hot angle and everybody was delivering and firing on all cylinders, really 2010 and 2011 was really about introducing people and fucking smoke and mirrors booking and making something out of nothing, and the guys really learning how to put shit over. So I should have been Booker fucking... I should have been like the Jeff G. Bailing of the fucking Booker Awards. Just my opinion. Am I trying to shit on the Bookers that won? Not. No. Do I think I was better? I know I was. But it's neither here nor there. That's why people need to vote. And vote, I imagine they will this year. Let's talk about that PCW show. Standing room only. It's a building with a capacity of 99. They're only supposed to have 99 fans in there, but... Say no more, say no more, say no more. Good for them. People asking me if I was proud. Fucking duh, motherfuckers. Speaking of... By the way, congratulations, PCW. No, I don't book that show. No, I don't have anything to do with that show. but it's Platinum Championship Wrestling Remix, and those guys should be fucking proud as fuck. Absolutely. Spinebuster, by the way, drew that 212. Impressive as fuck. Let's talk about the last news item, Southern Honor. What's the story that you want to make out of it? That they drew 350, which is the lowest crowd that they've had in a long time? Yeah, no, that's a shit ton of people. And what did they see? Great fucking show. Gunnar Miller showed up. Gunnar Miller showed up. And I didn't spoil the magic, even though I figured it out. That's really what the inspiration of the magic speech was originally. Was because I had a decision to make. Did I want to be the guy who is known as, oh, I'm super smart and I'm going to tell you what's up? Or I'm going to be the guy that picks and chooses his spots and lets people do the magic. And I chose magic. Are you glad that I did? Yeah, I think you are, looking back on it. I was also proud to be one of the promoters, one of the few promoters that wasn't fooled. Oh, fuck! Isn't it nice? So Southern Honor, let's get this right. Sometimes I punch him in the mouth, don't I? Sometimes I kick him down the stairs, and sometimes I lift him up, folks. Gunnar Miller's return. Impeccably done. I hated the guy having to stand in the ring while he watched the video, but at least the other guy was already knocked to the floor. What the fuck ever. That's nitpicking. The Gunnar Miller debut, amazing. He looked phenomenal. Fucking Corey and Logan with this fucking angle that's gone on and on and on and on and on, and it completely fucking works. The rise of AC Mac. The 1,000-person show. Logan Chase being put in effectively. And even when they've had shit that they had to deal with, they dealt with it well. And Danny has gone to being the best booked woman in the fucking state. And is shining. Though Danny is going to be one of the things that comes up in my fucking tighten up thing in the commentary. Look, I brought it up again, Elena. That's my daughter who monitors this stuff. What am I saying? Booker is up for grabs again. I hate to take people on this roller coaster ride. I gotta be honest, it looked like it was Todd's in a lock. And the fact that Todd, if not for Todd, where is Southern Fried right now? No argument there. Without Todd, they're fucking done. But with Dylan, Southern Honor, the Lynch's tag team thing, the hottest. Logan is champ, defending against AC Mac. Fucking the tag team with Michael Judas. They've got the best talent. They've got the best outsiders that have been a part of their shows. Through the connections from the Booker. They got the hottest shit going right now. Right? It's how you finish. And we're in November. Southern Fried gets their chance for their Thanksgiving show. And then they're doing one other show in December. So the voting's going to happen right close to the beginning of December. How good... I'm just going to put this rhetorical question out there. How good and well booked does that Thanksgiving show have to be in order to put Todd back in front? It's got to be pretty good. Here comes my rant. Right? So, the awards. We talked about them 2 or 3 months ago, and there were a whole bunch that were beyond debate, and then there were a bunch that were dead on locks. And now the ones that were like highly debatable. And now look how it's shaken out. Isn't it fucking interesting? Right? Female personality is boiling down to Danny, who won last year, who honestly looked like she wasn't really going to be in it. And then it looked like maybe she's not going to be with Southern Honor anymore. And if she's not in Southern Honor, as good as GPW has gotten, and as much as I see Danny Jordan's face, the tapped out guys nailed this, by the way. When they said Danny Jordan is the face that I see on more shows than almost anybody else, and that's absolutely true. Who's been a part of the hottest fucking angles as a female? It's Brooklyn Creed, who's proven incredibly capable on the mic, good enough in the ring, and the person who actually generates heat the most. Danny Jordan could generate that heat, but she's got to tighten up. We're going to talk about that in the commentary. So now that's a two-person race. Manager of the Year, which went from highly contentious, is now a slam dunk. Promotion of the Year went from Southern Honor to, well, I don't know, it's kind of up for debate, to, no, it's Southern Honor again, to, maybe it could be Action too. Booker went from, it's Todd, to, oh, it might be Dylan, to, no, it's definitely Todd, to, it's Dylan? With Todd still with one more solid chance to take over again. Fucking exciting year, folks. Who's the wrestler of the year? It's Logan Creed? Is it AC Mack? Is it Corey Hollis? And then personality of the year. It's Ashton Starr. Unless you want to vote for Corey Hollis, I wouldn't kick that out of bed. And there's probably a couple other people I'm not thinking of. Tag team, it's the Lynches. Or is it GB1C? Did I say that right? Oh, fuck. Or is it Master and Machine? By the way, congratulations to Master and Machine for getting that tag match against fucking... I'm so happy about that shit. And they won by a fucking landslide, which means people voted. And they voted early and often. And that's awesome. And I feel good having helped and participated in that as well. Those guys fucking deserve it. Those guys are magic. I hope that match went great. I was looking for it because I wanted to see it, but it's probably one of those things they're going to make me pay for. Ring of Honor, as a side note, I don't talk about the national scene all that much, but I'm going to talk about it because I find it interesting that Joey Mercury has recently come out and he's kind of going at it with their fucking general manager of Ring of Honor. And it's one of those things where I think everybody's coming out of it looking like shit. I think the general manager is being exposed as a fucking know-nothing, and I think Joey Mercury is being exposed as kind of like a wrestling piece of shit who does have the interest of the boys at heart, but then a number of the critiques actually seem to hold water, and it just makes Ring of Honor look like dippity, dude, dog shit. And it exposes all these things about them that Joey Mercury, because he's a talent with a big mouth, and he's always had a big mouth, and it's kind of hurt his career, and he's spouting off, and is the stuff he's saying true? Probably most of it, or certainly enough of it that it's casting a bad light on Ring of Honor. And I hate that the only time Ring of Honor's name comes up as far as news items is when something is fucked up, like Bubba Ray pulling that one fan to the back. It's always fucked up shit that they kind of handle badly. I'm curious how they're going to handle this Joey Mercury and the fucking general manager thing. Whatever ends up happening, it's going to end up making them look bad. Almost as bad as leaving a plane in Saudi Arabia and then lying to the boys about it. And then lying some more, and then you're dealing with this fucking blood-soaked country anyway, and all the goodwill from, we have these women wrestle this match, and it's gonna change the world, and now is taking a back seat to, what the fuck? You sold your soul to wrestle in front of those fucking butchers. By the way, the movie I'm watching, Nightcrawler. Everybody knows I fucking love that movie. People are telling me once I see Joker is going to be my new Nightcrawler, a movie I obsessively watch again and again and again and again. We'll see. Yeah. Weird stuff. Weird news items. When I take pictures of me or me and the kids when we're out around town, we have a number of weird traditions. Anybody who's belonged to my Instagram or Twitter, less so, but by the way, look below, join that shit. I put up a lot of the crazy pictures on Facebook and Instagram especially. And people really seemed to respond to the picture I took. We were at the Sugar Factory, which is a restaurant here in Orlando. We ended up not eating there, but then they have all these pictures of celebrities that have been to Sugar Factory. And one of them was of Ice-T and his wife Coco. So me and Veronica took the picture in tribute to Ice-T and Coco. And I sent them both the picture, Ice-T and Coco, on Twitter. And Coco said that she loved the picture and she's going to put it up at some point. I hope she does, and I hope Ice-T does as well. That'll be a lot of fucking fun. And I'll definitely brag on that shit. Because Ice-T's the man. Lethal Weapons is mine. It's going to go to the library and get some more ammo. Fuck yeah. What else is going on? Reviews. Gunnar Miller's show. It was him by himself, and I thought it was the best one that he's done solo. Do I think it's as good as when he has a guest? No. And he seemed to take a little bit of umbrage with that, like I was saying that he couldn't carry a show on his own. He can, it's just better when he has a guest. Because part of his strength is how he relates to somebody else there that isn't on his staff. I think him playing off of somebody is much more effective. And I think there's a number of things about his personality that come out and you're able to see on display that when he's interacting with somebody else. Well, Steve, what about you? Maybe you should have a guest on. At some point, maybe I would. Maybe I will. Fuck, I don't know. I'm going to MLW this Saturday in Orlando. And I'm fucking excited. And we'll see. I'm going to hobnob a little bit. My goal is to go to that show and have a fucking good time watching that shit. Excited. Tapped Out. Tapped Out, a really good show. Again, when Myron and Nick focus on one subject, they talk it better than anybody. I really like the show. Here's one note that I have for Myron and Nick and Gunnar. And something I think I have the advantage on that they could instantly take my advantage away. And I'll say Myron and Nick, no, I'm not going to put Myron and Nick in that category, but I will put Gunnar in the he needs to tighten this shit up category. Myron and Nick, actually, the more that I think about it, when the show reaches its natural conclusion, there is an energy drop, but then just by the fact that they have a fucking way to get out, they have a catchphrase. It's like, well, you know what we say, if you've got nothing and I've got nothing, it's time to tap out. And they end the show. And I think it's very effective. Gunnar needs to end his fucking show with a button or something so we know it's the end of the show, so we can stop having this fucking drag on 2-3 minutes thing of like, I don't know, what else is there to talk about? I don't know. We kind of talked about this. Maybe we could talk about, I don't know. I would just say if it's an inspirational quote, if it's, I don't know, I'm just spitballing, but Gunnar needs a way. So he goes, when he reaches the natural end of this show, instead of feeling the need to drag it out, he goes, guys, here's something that I read this week, or here's something that I've really taken to heart, or my theme of the week next week is going to be, as far as my workouts go, is going to be blank. Or just something that lets us know it's the end of the show, and then they end it. Because production-wise, he's got it all going on. He's got graphics and all this other shit. So, Gunnar Miller, button your shit, and it's fucking great. It's even greater. I'm a fan, though. I'm a fucking fan of that shit. Yeah, there's P-lists I have to put out. There's reviewing Jeff G. Bailey's shit that I got to do. I want to do the Jeff G. Bailey reviews of his writing, definitely. Because I'm also interested in looking at the fucking films that Velvet Jones has been in and fucking reviewing that shit for Be Kind Review. And saving the podcast reviews for full disclosure. Mm-hmm. P-lists, I need to put out the 10 fucking wrestling myths that this year has sort of debunked. And I think it's time for another top 10 wrestler list because shit has shaken the fuck up. All right. Is it that time? Are we at the commentary? We sure as fuck are. Before we talk about that, though, there's one other rant I want to go on because it came up in a conversation I was having with a friend of mine. And I realized one of the big differences between wrestling now and wrestling before is I was talking about how it's the guys that teach you stuff that you don't remember until later that really count. And so this is me publicly saying there was a wrestler when I was in Colorado, and he was a wrestler he never made it big time. To me, he was 10 years the wrong way, plus or minus. If he was 10 years earlier, he would have been a big, huge star. And if if his prime was 10 years later, he would have been a big star because he would have been bigger than everybody physically. Is a wrestler named Bobby Black. And he's a tattoo guy, and he used to do like a food review fucking column in Colorado. He was just a really smart, fucking edgy kind of guy. He had a wife who was hot as fuck, who would fucking come to ringside with him. And he was a fucking scary guy, and he had a great voice, and he cut a fucking great promo. He was not physically gifted in the ring at the time where I was wrestling with him in the late 90s. But Bobby Black fucking saved my ass once. I had to wrestle Jake Roberts, and it was one of the bad nights. It was the first really bad night where Jake was just... They're going to have to hit him with a bucket of ice water to wake him up, as I was told later, and just push him to the ring. And Bobby sensed that this might be trouble for me. And so he taught me how to protect myself. He's like, if Jake picks you up in a body slam, he might drop you on your head. So I know how you were taught in wrestling school, but Bobby taught me how to literally protect myself. And there was nothing in Jake's moveset where I couldn't protect myself to one degree or another. And I realized in modern wrestling, as much as people like talk about the selfishness of the modern wrestler, right? How it's all about getting your shit in and wah. Wrestling moves have never been, you've never had to be more cooperative. And in some ways that's bad. Right? Because to a trained eye, they're like, oh, these guys are working in tandem together. And look how they're fucking having to hold each other up on that top rope so they can pull this fucking move off. And, oh, God, they're setting this table spot up so blatantly. And but I kind of get it in that I don't know if we've ever been in a time in professional wrestling where moves required more cooperation of the two than now. You can't just do a Canadian destroyer to somebody. They have to backflip for you, right? And dragon suplex, your fucking arms are trapped and you're not protected. Like, it's such a vulnerable time and it requires so much trust and cooperation that in a weird way, I'm going to put over the young guys and women doing it now. Because you're really... I remember the first time I had to take a styles clash from somebody, and I was scared to death because it ran counter to how you're taught how to bump. And maybe this is too much inside stuff and people get mad at me for talking about it. Well, fuck your mother. I'm going to talk about it. I was scared because it's... And, all those times where people would fucking tuck their chin and put their head down, and then so they get jacked up when the styles clash. And then people wanted to blame somebody. Oh, the move's too dangerous. Or, oh, they don't know what they're doing. The truth is, it runs counter mentally to how you're taught to bump. Right? You feel your momentum shift and you tuck your chin. That's what you fucking do, right? But except it's not what you do. So it's insane. Who the fuck is calling me? Well, fuck them. It's definitely an out-of-state number. Fuck, WWE's bringing in all these other people on the down low for fucking advice. I don't think they're going to call me. Could you imagine the WWE fucking calling me? Steve, help us. Am I saying I couldn't help them? Oh, I could fucking help them. But do they really want to deal with me at this point in my career? I don't think they do. Anyway. So I will give it to the young wrestlers. The nature of matches are such, they're like, oh, they don't call it in the ring, the fucking pussies. The level of complexity that goes on in, let's say, an AC Mack match with Alan Angels. There's a level of complexity there that you can't call that shit out and get that physicality and level of complexity with the physicality in. However, there is something sacrificed when you have to work out your spots to that degree. And clearly the modern game is they're willing to pay the price to get the effect that you can only get through incredible complexity. Let me burst your bubble, folks. Those of you who admire and worship Macho Man against Ricky Steamboat at WrestleMania 3, just know that Macho Man, who everybody fucking loves, worked out his matches bell to bell move for move, memorized, choreographed matches. Let me say that again. Macho Man, who everybody knows and admires and loves, worked out his matches, bell to bell, move to move, every fucking nuance. Ricky Steamboat, if you say, oh, I love that match, WrestleMania 3, it was so great, he himself will think to himself, that match wasn't shit because it wasn't called out in the ring. That's the truth. So where does the truth lie? Did I teach my wrestlers how to call shit out? Yes. Do any number of them, the guys that I trained and women that I trained, probably work out a whole lot of their matches beforehand nowadays? Yes. That doesn't make it worse. And this might blow your fucking mind that me of all people is saying this. And this is something I've come to recently where I'm like, shit's different now. And that's one of the ways, the price of more complexity. Now, does that mean I think you shouldn't change gears? If something's not working, you should. You should change gears and call shit out. And anybody who did a match with me in PCW knows that. Like the smart ones, especially like Shane Marks knew. It's like, oh, Steve and I can fucking talk about 80 fucking things. He's going to throw most of them out. And we're just going to call it out there. Just the truth. But am I supposed to be mad at a Kenny Omega fucking Okada match? I'm not. I admire it too. Trust and cooperation. The funny thing is, it's a business where, the wrestling that is, it's a business where you need to trust each other and cooperate more than ever before, but never have there been so few people that are trustworthy, including the boys themselves. But I think with the boys, it's gotten better. I think it reached an all-time low. I think at one point, guys really knew how to work together. They were competitive, but competitive in the right way. And then I think it got to the point where there was an air of selfishness. And now we're getting to the point where the guys are trusting and cooperating with each other. And part of the negative of that is stuff might look a little too rehearsed. But then the payoff is, I think the payoff's going to come down the road where people are going to find the nice middle ground of, we're doing more complicated and different stuff in the ring, which we have to do because you can't wrestle like they did in the 70s or 80s or crowds will get bored. And I think that's true. I think in some ways you do have to stand on the shoulders of giants. And standing on the shoulders of giants that have come before you means I can't wrestle Ric Flair's match, but I can use a number of the conventions that Ric Flair used and then put a modern, more athletic twist on them. And I think that that's what guys are trying to do and women are trying to do. Now, they may not be overtly conscious of it, and they need to get to be overtly conscious of it so they can remain respectful and they work within the time restrictions. Keep that in mind, folks, too. What is a TV match nowadays in WWE? Is that the boys' fault? That isn't. They're working, they're doing the best they can with what they're given to do. Commentary. But before the commentary, motherfucker, I forgot to fucking open up my goddamn unboxing. I'm doing that shit now. Sorry. Fuck you, microphone, for cutting me off. But it's going to be sort of seamless. And it works out well because then it goes into the commentary. Whatever. I'm not going to put it out as 2 videos, though. I'm going to put it out as one long one. It's from Ripped Apparel. Good sign. My kid, by the way, inspected this package to make sure there was no glitter bomb in it or it wasn't any other fucked up stuff. But it is what it is, you know. No idea. I will look for a note, though Ripped Apparel stuff, generally you don't get a note with it. It's people who contact me later. Like the Rick and Morty shirt, I don't know if that person wants me to say who it was from. And the person who sent me the thing who I used to wrestle with, that other shirt, they didn't want me to say who they were. They're very modest like that, which is cool. Oh my fucking God. Whoever sent me this shirt, please let me know who you are so I can thank you properly. I love Marvin the Martian. I can do Marvin the Martian. Um, Hashtag clueless. Brittany Murphy. What? Rest in peace. I can do Marvin. I can do Marvin the Martian. Marvin the Martian combined with one of my favorite movies that shouldn't be one of my favorite movies, Mars Attacks. Marvin Attacks. Look at that dope ass shit. In addition to the Patreon shit, which is incredible, and in addition to the fucking channel growing and growing and growing, I don't even know how many subscribers we have, but it went from 17 when people fucking made fun of me to well over 100. By the way, when I get to 200 subscribers, I got some big shit planned for that subscriber celebration. I can't wait. But the shirts that I've gotten over the years, I think at the end of the year, by the way, with this software, which fucking Eric Lagon, Dynamite Soul, paid for, so now I can edit shit without a watermark. I've started fucking around, and I'm going to put out a best of fucking Stephen Platinum at the end of the year. I don't know how long that video is going to be. Maybe it'll be 15 seconds. But it's going to be all like the crazy shit I've said and predictions I've said that have come true and all that kind of shit. It's going to take a while to edit, but it's the least I can do. Audience has been very good to me. Commentary. Tighten up, sacrifice. I'm going to pick on her for an example, but this shit applies to a lot of people. Danny Jordan. Love the name. Love the look. In PCW, I always like to say we had two kinds of women. I guess technically three, but two kinds of women. Women who were hot as fuck, tough as shit, or both. I turned down women before. Like guys who were like, oh, my girlfriend is my valet, can she come? And I would look at pictures and I go like, no. Because you got to be hot as hell, tough as fuck, or both. Is that mean of me? Yes. Is it sexist of me? Likely. But was the philosophy. Danny Jordan is tough as fuck. And that would be enough. But she's cute. Really fucking cute too. And she's got charisma. And the Mean Girls thing, I fucking love it. And people have told me, including her booker, that they consider her like, at times she's like the second biggest heel that they have. Then why the fuck, Danny, are you out hobnobbing with the crowd and being friendly? Or at best, mildly bitchy towards them? I get it. I get it, modern wrestlers, you gotta sell merch. I get it. You don't think that there's real face heel dynamics anymore. But you want to create magic. And there's two kinds of magic. The magic that creates wonder or dark magic. And if you want to make magic, you can't be a tweener. You can't be a secretly wink wink nudge nudge heel. And why the fuck would you want to be? Southern Honor right now, if they're winning the booking war, it's because Joe Black and William Huckabee is authentic as fuck. Joe is authentic as fuck. William Huckabee at times has looked like the Incredible Hulk, and right now looks like the Incredible Bulk, and it doesn't fucking matter because there's something about that guy that's legit as fuck. I'll tell you, Joe Black, though he is the face, he's authentic as fuck. I don't see him on one knee with his arms around a fan going with a big smile. Not that he would be above taking a picture with somebody, but he gets it. on an instinctual level and I think an intellectual level as well. I think he's a very smart guy who's really feeling himself. I think he's really coming into his own. I don't say that as a bad thing, I say that as a great thing. And when he brings up my name in a fucking promo and talks about magic, I feel fucking honored. I haven't watched the promo yet. But just knowing he said that, just knowing that multiple promotions were like, well, I think we got the magic here, Steve, and I think this worked as magic. It's great. That means people are listening and the right people are listening and the people that should be listening are listening and more people should listen and hopefully are. And if I've got your attention to this degree, I'm gonna fucking now hammer it home. Danny, either be the fucking best heel that you can be or be a fucking babyface. Because greatness and true magic is not achieved otherwise. I watched the clip of you wrestling, that 17-year-old, and it was fucking good. And I don't watch wrestling anymore. But I watch because there's magic about you. So what are we doing, Danny? Are we going to do fucking dark magic? Are you going to be fucking using the dark side? Are you going to be fucking, no, no, no? Are we going to fucking get lightning and fucking destructive? Or are we going to be doing cool shit? Right now you're doing half of one, half of another. And it's diluting the effect. Tightening up and sacrifice. Yes, sacrifice. Yes, you might have to give up heels, money that you can make on merchandise. Is that worth it? To be the greatest fucking heel you could be and the best fucking performer. And if you think wrestling is performance, you're being a performance artist and that phrase doesn't fucking make you sick to your stomach, well then why aren't you being the best performance artist you can fucking be? When I was Stephen Platinum, performance artist for the Brawl show in Dad's Garage Atlanta, you know how proud it made me that other theaters, because I trashed Dad's Garage Theater and fucking slapped people and had the cops called on me and all this other shit. You think I immediately went outside and fucking glad-handed with everybody and talked about how cool I was and how fun it was to be a fucking... Or did I just fucking play the fucking role to the T? To the point where me and at the time my wife would go to other theaters to see shows and people would come up to us and ask me to not ruin their show. Because they thought I was that guy. And you know why they thought I was Stephen Platinum? Because I was Stephen Platinum! I sacrificed more people liking me to be the best fucking heel in the fucking state. I was such a heel that I was a heel in the fucking theater community. People really thought I was that fucking malicious asshole all the time because there's a part of me that kind of was. People would say shit to me like, I feel bad for your kids. Because they thought that I was that guy at home. Did I like that people perceived me as a bad father because of being Stephen Platinum in an improv comedy show? But it was a sacrifice that I made. Sacrifice. Tighten your shit up, heels and baby faces. If we've learned nothing else from Jacob fucking Ashworth, learn this. He should have tightened up who he was as a person and as a man. And he wouldn't have fucked up so bad. And he wouldn't have taken fucking Southern Fried down with him. Tighten up. Make strong choices. You may have to give up fucking merchandise, heels, but the effect is so much greater. What would Corey Hollis give up if he sold a bunch of merch in the lobby? He'd make a little more money, but he would give up everything that he's built. Danny, you've already been Female Performer of the Year. Can you be bigger? Can you be better? You're getting on shows all over the place and you're showing your ring work and it's great. But right now, who's the biggest heel female? I guess it's Brooklyn. I'm guessing. Who's the biggest babyface female? I don't really know. I guess it's Crystal Rose. I'd say it's Crystal Rose. She's doing her shit at Peach State and at Anarchy, and she's over at both. But I want more. What will you sacrifice to elevate yourself? Who will you sacrifice to elevate yourself? I'm sure there were wrestlers in the back that were mad that Gunnar Miller had to basically squash two fucking wrestlers. If you feel that way, then you don't fucking get it. One stands on the shoulders of two, who stand on the shoulder of four, who stand on the shoulders of everybody else. Everybody gets sacrificed to hold up four, who hold up two, who hold up one. And they want Gunnar to be in the mix right away. That means he's got to be one of the four at the very least. And you know what that means? He's standing on the fucking bodies of at least 12 to 20 motherfuckers underneath him. That's how wrestling works. That's how it works. Master and Machine and a number of their supporters worked very hard to get them that match with the Briscoes. Guess what? Did they get to be one of the four or the two or the one? No. They are just happy to be in the fucking mix. You have to sacrifice. And you have to be the sacrificed. So if you're supposedly one of the biggest heels or baby faces in a particular company, you have to acknowledge that you're going to have to sacrifice other people onto your altar to raise you up. But you have to be worthy of the sacrifice that others are making for you. You have to tighten up. Everybody talks about the Undertaker streak and whether it should have ended or whenever it should have ended. And you know what never talks about? The fact that fucking 16, 17, 18, 20 other people had a fucking job to hold up the Undertaker's streak and make it valuable. And Undertaker did his part by being the most fucking over guy for that shit. He had to tighten up. He had to sacrifice. He had to be that fucking guy all the fucking time for the fucking glory. Don't you want the glory? Don't you want to be the biggest fucking heel? Don't you want to be the best fucking babyface? Not just when you're talking to your boys, oh man, if they'd only give me a shot, I would fucking take over this shit. Take over this shit. You don't need to fucking be booked that way. Your job isn't to be booked that way. Your job is to just be that guy and be inevitable. God bless you, Matt Hankins. Tighten your shit up, heels, because you ain't shit. Who are the fucking heels? Corey Hollis is a fucking heel. He doesn't want to be secretly liked. David Ali is a fucking great heel online, but he's another one who hobnobs in the fucking lobby with the fans. Stop that shit! I'm going to keep a close eye on what fucking PCW's doing. That shit's near and dear to my heart. I tell you, the sooner they delineate who the fucking real heels are and who are the fucking baby faces, the better off they're going to be. But I know Matt Hankins, and he's going to have that shit on point. What are you willing to do to be the best heel or baby face you can be? What are you willing to do? Promoters, what are you willing to sacrifice? You know what you might have to sacrifice, some of you promoters? Oh yeah, I'm turning it on you. It's what the fuck I do. You know what you might have to sacrifice? The person that you are, because maybe you're a piece of shit. And maybe you need to become a better fucking person. And you need to be so obvious that you're being a better person that you don't have to tell anybody, that they can just see it on you. And maybe if you do that, people will trust you. Maybe they'll follow you into the fucking mouth of hell. Maybe it's not just about what you're paying them. Or the fact that, I'm so glad I haven't seen this lately from promoters. There's a while where all you cocky fucks were saying what the boys needed to do. Oh, these people who contact me, it's such a burden. Wah, wah, wah. I notice I don't see a lot of that lately. Because you're realizing it's a synonymous relationship with the fucking boys. And that, of course, I mean the women that wrestle for you and work for you too. So promoters have humbled themselves a little, but some of you are still big time pieces of shit who still don't own up to your shit. And what you need to do is tighten the fuck up too. And bookers. Bookers who are booking cage matches without blood and all this other shit. Bookers, if you are in your fucking show, you should be making the biggest fucking sacrifices of them all. There's, as they say in Nightcrawler, I would never ask you to do anything that I wouldn't do myself. And we know that that's a huge moment at the end of that movie because we've seen that motherfucker literally do everything to fucking make it. So we realize how ominous that is. When I fucking booked PCW, you know who got better color than me when it called for it? Nobody! Me and Jay Fury both had to bleed on 11/11, and I'm going to talk about that next week on the anniversary of 11/11 show. Oh, fucking exciting. And I told Jay Fury I'm going to outbleed you. And Jay Fury was a fucking wrestler. Man's man. No way, Steve. Look at the pictures, motherfuckers. Of course. I bled. For Chip's heel turn in the War Games, I bled. For fucking Jeff G. Bailey introducing him, Shane Marks going heel, I bled. For fucking Anarchy to pay that shit off, those ungrateful fucks, for the most part, I bled. And then I laid in that ring while they fucking treated me like fucking dog shit and took advantage of me. Whatever the fuck. I didn't care. Sacrifice. That's what you do for this shit. Magic is wonderful, and you should be trying to cast magic, and you should be trying to do all of that. But you should also always be in the process of tightening your shit up. And what can you sacrifice? Sacrifice, people think of it as a burden and you giving up something. Sacrifice is fucking cutting away, stripping yourself down to bare wood. And what did we find? In the 90s and early 2000s, when all the yuppie scum and the fucking suburbanites, they would cover up everything. What's the trend in the last 5 years? If you watch those fucking do-it-yourself and house flipping shows and all that other shit, what did we find out? That the bare wood and the grain of the wood is the most beautiful thing of all. So strip yourselves down to the essence of what you are trying to be. Tighten the fuck up, and you may find that the magic presents itself. But all magic takes sacrifice. All magic takes sacrifice. I don't care if it's that Hogwarts shit. I don't care if it's Dungeons and Dragons. What do you have to do to cast a spell? Magic in Dungeons and Dragons. You got to give something up. You need this component, this element. You have to do this action. It takes this amount of time. You want Conan to come back to life, magic-wise? Then the demons are going to take you, bitch. Magic takes sacrifice. If that's too much for you to understand, get the fuck out of wrestling. Because there's a number of people in the game right now, bookers, promoters, wrestlers, who have already sacrificed a ton and will sacrifice a whole lot more to be the best, to be the greatest, to be the number one heel or the number one face or the number one promotion or the number one booker or the number one everything. If you're wondering, how can I get there? The first question to ask is, what can I tighten up? And the second one is, what can I sacrifice? The more you jettison off the boat, the more you jettison out of the basket, the higher your hot air balloon is going to rise. And a lot of you are just holding on to too much. You want it all. You can't have it all, meaning the best and the top, the cream at the top, without jettisoning some things. Heels, give up some fucking merch sales, pussies. Baby faces, become a better person. Become a better person. Which one are you going to do? And once you switch from one to the other, you got to make the sacrifices. If you were the great heel who is now the baby face, you have to become a better person in real life. Because baby faces are what? They're show-offs. And if all they are is show-offs, that's not a good trait. But if you're a good person and then you're illuminating the fact that you're a good person and people can see it in you, then you've really done it. And if you're a heel and people literally hate you, you should be such a great fucking heel if you're a heel that animals don't like you because you're that deep into it. Think about that shit. Become a better person or become a worse person. But if you're just standing still, dog paddling, treading water, you're not making magic. You're just taking up air and you're just taking up a spot that somebody else who's willing to sacrifice, willing to do what it takes. That's what wrestling needs right now. People who are willing to transcend themselves one way or the other. This has been Full Disclosure.